If not so, thank you again for your presentation. And I call upon the next speaker, which will be Dr. Meena Verma.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good
And
evening,
now,
all of you. Very good evening, all of you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity on speaking on an international platform. I would be presenting my thesis work or research work which I did in the MD pathology, and I was working as a demonstrator in the Department of Pathology, PJMS Rohtak, till 4th of Feb. Then I got admission in NEET super specialty in a clinical hematology, and now I joined the Dr. BL Kapoor Hospital in Delhi, India. And this is the presentation which I did in the MD pathology in a PGMS Rohtak. I'm going to present my thesis work. Kindly, now I want to share my content. Just a minute. Can you see my presentation?
yes, perfect.
Okay. So my topic of my research was immunophenotyping of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma on fine needle aspiration by flow cytometry. This research was done in the Department of Pathology. First of all, I would like to give some brief introduction. Lymphoma represents one of the major health problems all over the world. And we all know the non-Hodgkin's lymphoma are a heterogeneous group of malignancies that arising from the lymphoid tissue with a varied clinical and biological features. According to the WHO, non-Hodgkin's lymphomas are distinct clinico-pathological entities defined through a comprehensive evaluation of morphological, immunophenotypic, genetic features, and clinical data, not only the morphology alone. So, in fact, in a different types of NHL, similar morphology may be there, but a different cell origin, different immunophenotypic, and different biological behavior. First of all, whenever a patient present with the lymphadenopathy, the first investigation is done is the fine needle aspiration cytology, which is done for the diagnosis of NHL, but it only tells about the morphological features, not the and which are not sufficient to diagnose and classify the NHL. That's why we require some ancillary techniques which can classify the NHL. Among the ancillary techniques, we have IHC and flow cytometry and moleculars. And this thesis was done for on flow cytometry, which is a basic lymph node ancillary technique for the diagnosis and classification of NHL. Flow cytometry works on the evaluation of lymphoid B and T cell antigens. Then there is a clonality assessment of light chains in case of B NHL. There are different methods which can be used for the clonality assessment and antigen expression of lymphoid cell population, but flow cytometry is the most effective one. So aim and objective of our work was to assess the utility of flow cytometry immunophenotyping in diagnosis and differentiation of reactive lymph node and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma on a fine needle aspirates. And second one was to correlate the results of FNSC and flow cytometry with the histopathology and IC wherever it was possible. Inclusion criteria taken for the research was only suspected and confirmed cases of NHL on FNSC were taken for this research. Material method used for this thesis was this prospective study was carried out on 50 patients in the Department of Pathology, Pandit B.D. Sharma, PGIMS, Rohtak. There were 25 cases of reactive hyperplasia and 25 cases of NHL. Reactive lymph node was taken as a control for this study, and exclusion criteria were non-Hodgkin's lymphoma patients which were on chemotherapy, metastatic non-lymphoid malignant disease, and Hodgkin's lymphoma. Specimen preparation was done by 0.5 ml of RPMI 1640, that is the tissue culture media, was taken in a 2 Eppendorf tubes for each patient. FNAC was done by standard technique using 23 gauge needle and a 10 ml syringe. FNAC smears were prepared using the Leishman stain. Another pass of needle was done and material was collected in RPMI 1640 tissue culture media for flow cytometric analysis. After that, suspension was divided into multiple tubes depending on adequacy of the cells. Flow cytometric analysis was done on Becton Dickinson flow cytometer by dual color analysis technique. This is the table showing the panel of antibodies that is used in our research. These are the 7 tubes. First tube is a lymphoma screening tube in which CD8, CD4, CD3, CD19, CD56, CD45 antibodies were added. In the next tube, lambda, kappa, and CD20 were added. In a third tube, that is B1, CD79B, CD10, CD5, CD19, CD20, and CD45 were added. In the B2 tube, FMC7, CD200, CD38, CD19, CD23, CD45 is added in all the tubes. Then there is the T tubes, that is for the T cell NHL, T cell alpha beta, TCR gamma delta, CD5, CD3, CD7 were added. For hairy cell leukemia or lymphoma, we have a CD103 marker, CD123, CD19, CD25. For NK cell lymphomas, we added CD2, CD30, CD16, CD3, and CD57. So this was the antibody panel we used in the research work. Data interpretation was done by list mode data on FACS Canto 2 flow cytometer, BD biosynthesis, and analyzed by FACS Diva software. More than 30% expression of any gated events on site scatter versus CD45 plots were considered as positive. These are the results of our observation of our work. This table is showing the distribution of cases according to the age in case of reactive hyperplasia on flow cytometry. Most of the cases, that is the 16 out of 25 cases, were in the age group of less than 30. That is 60 and constitute this 64% of the total cases. This graph is showing again this showing the more than less than 30 years of the age group constitute the 16 cases in case of reactive hyperplasia. This table is showing distribution of the cases according to the age which were suspicious on lymphoma on FNAC. In this, the more in 16 out of 25 cases, 16 cases were in the age group were more than 50 years of the age and constituted 64% of the total cases. Again, this is again the same. There were male predominance in our thesis. This table is showing distribution of cases according to the site in the suspicious lymphoma cases. In our study, we find the cervical lymph node is the common site for the NHL cases. That is, the 17 out of 25 cases were presented with the cervical lymphadenopathy. 4 were with the axillary lymph node and 4 with the inguinal lymph nodes. This table is showing the distribution of cases which were suspicious of lymphoma on FNAC and showed monoclonality pattern. Kappa restriction was seen in 6 cases, lambda was seen in 9 cases, and there was no restriction in 2 of the cases. But still, they were made the diagnosis. There were made the diagnosis of BNHL because of high intensity of CD19 and CD20 positivity. This again graph showing the kappa restriction and lambda restriction. Lambda was more in thesis. This is the table showing the subtyping of BNHL on flow cytometry. In our work, we find the most of the cases were in the group of small lymphocytic lymphoma. 1 case was diagnosed as mantle cell lymphoma and 1 was follicular lymphoma. Another 9 were diagnosed as BNHL, not otherwise specified. The mantle cell lymphoma case was confirmed on histopathology by applying the cyclin D1, and follicular lymphoma case was also confirmed on the histopathology by applying the BCL2 and BCL6. This is the table showing the distribution of the cases which show the concurrence between flow cytometry, FNAC, and histology. Out of 22 cases, we were able to follow only 9 cases on histopathology. 6 out of 6 of SLL cases, 2 were followed for the histopathology. 1 was follicular and 1 for mantle lymphoma was also confirmed on the histopathology. 9 cases which were suspicious on FNAC and diagnosed on the flow cytometry as BNHL, not otherwise specified. On histology, BNHL peripheral type was diagnosis of peripheral B type was given. And this table is showing which we use as a criteria for diagnosis of BNHL for the flow cytometric analysis. In case of SLL cases, there was a light chain restriction and they were positive for CD19, CD20, CD5, CD23, CD10 negative cases. 1 case which was mantle cell lymphoma was positive for CD19, CD20, CD5, and negative for CD23 as well as CD10. With the case which was diagnosed as a follicular lymphoma was positive for CD10, and this case was confirmed on histopathology by applying the BCL1, BCL6. These are some photographs. This photograph is showing the case of reactive hyperplasia with CD19 and CD3 positivity in B and T cells. Figure B is showing both the ratio of kappa and lambda in equal amount. This is the case which was suspicious of lymphoma on flow cytometry, and for the diagnosis of this case, we applied flow cytometric panel, and there was a kappa restriction in that case Further, this case was positive for CD5, CD19, CD79B, and CD23, CD38, and CD200. And the diagnosis of SLL was made on flow cytometry. This table is showing the FNSC and flow cytometry discordant cases. There were 4 cases, 3 cases which were suggestive of chronic lymphoproliferative disorder on FNSC, and they were reactive or polyclonal on flow cytometry. Unfortunately, we could not follow these cases for further histology, and this was a limitation of our study also. And one case which was suggestive of chronic lymphoproliferative disorder was reactive on flow cytometry and came Hodgkin's lymphoma on histology. This table is showing the comparison of some of the studies, the like Day et al. In case of the they conducted a study in 2006 in which they found that SLL is the most common subtyping, and Ansani et al. Also found that SLL is the most common NHL. And in our study, we also found out of 17 cases, 6 cases were of SLL. To conclude, we conclude that flow cytometry enhances the diagnostic ability of FNSC cytology, and the combined approach has a high diagnostic value that allows a reliable subclassification of low-grade B-cell non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. But there were some limitations of our study. One, which we did not, because we did not find any T-cell lymphoma. It could be due to small sample size of the study, and 3 cases which were discordant on FNSC and flow cytometry. We could not follow these cases for the histopathology, and 4 cases which were suspicious on FNSC, and in these cases we could not aspirate the sufficient amount of material for the flow cytometric analysis. These are the references which I used in my study. Thank you all for listening me. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Dr. Meena, for this very comprehensive contribution. Are there any questions from the audience?
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm not able to